Let's get one last call in here. Wolfos in Texas also wants to talk about love. This is the love episode.
It really is.
Wolfos, welcome back.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
No, I might be a prophet because I actually called in with this topic before you guys answered with Jay.
Okay.
Hail Wolfos.
That's all the proof I need. We're theists now. Wolfos, what is your topic? What about love do you want to talk about?
I believe I do understand and use unconditional love very well all the time. And I try to love everybody and everything I possibly can at all times. And I don't think it's a hard thing to do.
I kind of want to push back on you on that, Wolfos. So let's say you decide that, let's say you want to love a person unconditionally. And so that means there is no condition that nothing's going to happen that's going to cause you to not love that person anymore. I feel like loving somebody, there is a responsibility. And if that person does not deserve that, if that person is out to hurt you, you have every right not to love that. You can fall out of love. I feel like unconditional love, the way that it's talked about there, puts an onus on you to forgive people who maybe don't deserve forgiveness. If somebody were to hurt you badly, if somebody were to make your life miserable and you've decided that you're going to love that person unconditionally, they don't deserve that love. And so I feel like the idea that we would have expectations for people not to hurt us, or hope that people aren't going to hurt us. This idea, if you can't love unconditionally, then there's something wrong with it. No, V, I love you. If you became a different person, an entirely different person, someone who I had absolutely nothing in common with, who I had no hope of growing with, and who I was not going to grow, or I was not going to help you, you were not going to help me, I imagine we would fall out of love. Mm-hmm. And the best thing for us would be to separate. I hope that never happens. But looking at that, I feel like that is just more realistic. But for some reason, the idea that it's wrong kills me. And so are you taking on this idea that unconditional love is somehow virtuous?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But I do believe that I have unconditional love for my children, my wife, my pets, myself, and at least close friends, where they could do almost anything to where they wouldn't drop out of that form of love that I'm holding for them. I think love is on more of a spectrum.
Ooh, so maybe are you saying that you're pointing out the asterisk that nobody's paying attention to? That when you say unconditional love, there is an asterisk, and that is that you deserve happiness and wellness in your life, and that's not going to, that unconditional love is not going to impede that. I like that. Does unconditional love always have that asterisk? Should it always have that asterisk?
I believe it's always had that asterisk. By definition of itself. Love can go all the way down to loving our planet, loving the fact that we exist.
I get that. That's very poetic. What I'm thinking of is, dealing with family members who you're supposed to love unconditionally, who have absolutely destroyed their relationship with you. Those are the experiences where I've bounced up against unconditional love and gone, you know what?
I have a little story that relates to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a pretty short story. My brother and I are half brothers raised by my mother. We were together for our entire lives. He's about 4 years older than me. Yeah, sure, he was a big brother. He did big brother things, and it was pretty bad, but I still loved him anyway, and we held that forever. Sure. Now, up until about a year ago, we were able to hold that very well. And he got something in his head that he thought I was cheating on my wife. He didn't address me about it or anything. He came into my work and assaulted me more than once. It was 2 days in a row. He came in directly at night, in the middle of the night, with nobody around.
Jeez.
And he was arrested. He's in jail, and that's what I mean. He's serving what he deserves for assault and battery in a public place against somebody he knows. But I still love him. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop me from at least holding some sort of connection to anybody I've ever met. I wish the best for them, and if they needed anything, they should know that they could come to me no matter what. Even him.
Yeah. That says a lot about you, but I do want to push back because I think there are a lot of people who the best decision they've ever made is cutting family members out of their lives who were awful.
But I think that there's something that we need to parse here, which is you can love somebody and cut them out of your life at the same time.
Oh, you're right. You could.
I never stopped loving my dad in the way that I could after he was an abusive asshole and we ran away. I never reached out to him again. And then he unalived himself. So that was that. But like, I would still say, yeah, on some level, I loved my dad. Same with lots of friends. And
I have something to add to that right there.
I don't know.
My father wasn't a...
Go ahead, Wolfos. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah. Well, related to V's story, my father was an abusive alcoholic who my mother ran away from when I was about 2 years old. And they got a divorce, and he had visitation rights that he never really appealed to. And by about 8 years old, I decided to stop going with him. He never fought about it or anything, so he never brought it up. He remarried, had whatever. They got divorced because he's an abusive alcoholic. He's still alive today. And I still hold some love for him. Regardless of what he does, I believe he can change. And if he can change, that's the better for him and everybody around him. But I still hold that little bit of hope for him.
Yes. And would you agree that he does not deserve to have a relationship with you? That is on you. That is on you. And whether or not you decide to have a relationship with that person, whether if they changed or not, there's not an onus on you. That's all I'm trying to point out. You know what I mean? I would not, just because somebody changed doesn't mean that they deserve a spot in your life. Mm-hmm. And I just want to be super, super clear about that because I would never want to even unintentionally communicate that to people.
Yeah, there's a difference between saying, I personally can experience love for people that have hurt me in some way. And saying, if you do not experience that, then you are somehow not as good as me, right? So I think that's also the underlying thing here. Wolfos, I love that you can experience that. And I think that honestly, it's almost easier to be able to fall back to that, even in the face of harm or abuse, as long as you're taking care of yourself and getting yourself out and safe. But I don't think that Wolfos would say, and I certainly wouldn't, that if somebody else was not experiencing this, that was somehow a flaw. It's just how things are, how our brains work.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think that.
And I'm sure I went through that.
Yeah.
Maybe that exact phase, I'm sure I went through.
I think that might just be me projecting. I've got my own baggage I'm bringing to the table.
Honestly,
I think I'm trying to make you pay for it. Sorry about that, Wolfos.
The biggest problem here that I'm seeing across all of these calls about love is that we only have one fucking word for it. And that is the problem. There is a vast difference in the emotion I feel towards my planet or the trees around me while I'm hiking and my cat or my fiance. But I am stuck calling both of those love. So on the one hand, yes, everybody loves everything because that is unfortunately the only word we've got. And on the other hand, that deep unconditional feeling of love that you have for your children, for your wife, for your pets is very different and very exclusive. So I think it's just when we mix those up and assume that other people are requiring us to feel that deep, unconditional, exclusive kind of love with strangers or with a god or with somebody who has hurt us. So it's always worth just breaking that down and, you know, doing a little bit of a bash to the English language, which is terribly poor. But Wolfos, we are at time. Thank you so much for calling in and for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say that I liked how you guys described the difference between deconstruction and deconversion, because my deconversion happened during my deconstruction.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's often how it happens. It's not one after the other. They happen simultaneously. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Bye.
This has given me a lot to think about, and that call really wrapped all of it up in a bow. You did a really good job.
Oh, thank you.
Just
I've only been doing this together for like 3 years.
Let me compliment you. I'm trying to be. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked this episode. It was
the love episode.
Someone was like, Eric shows us his parts, the love episode. What is this?
Yeah, right.
What is happening?